All my life I'd wanted to be a writer, little dreaming that the first things I'd ever write would be in an ancient language from the far side of the world. I discovered Kuranda in 1986. I said I'd love to study the mythology of the people into whose lands I was coming to build a house. I hadn't actually talked to any Aboriginal people. One day I'd been busy, went down to the river for a swim, heard voices from the other side, found two boys. I asked the boys, whose country was this? And without any hesitation, the elder of the two jumped out of the water onto the bank and performed what I came to find out later, a Wurrmbul, a shake-a-leg dance. And proudly he told me this was Djabuganydji country. 2 weeks went by and there was that young man on the road hitchhiking, and he asked me if I'd like to meet his uncle, Lalfie Thompson, and I knelt down at this man's feet and begged him to tell me about his people. But he laughed at me, saying, "No way, Migaloo, not unless you learn our lingo." I kept on meeting Lalfie Thompson, Gindan, the moon, as is known in the Djabuganydji language. And he must have decided that I was serious because he introduced me to different members of the tribe.
The old people they usually sit around in the park, and Michael used to go and sit there with them with a pen and paper. And for about 2 years, maybe 18 months, he sat down and listened and wrote down what they were saying and asking them to explain themselves. And they laughed at him and said, well, what's this Migaloo fella doing here? What this gadget doing here following us around? And he said, I want to learn the language.
Nanji Jana Janadang, Bana Wurrula, Marim. We're standing beside the barren river. Jaroi, Nulanuleng, birds are singing out.
There was a few of us that worked with Michael who wanted to help save the language. He was grateful that we can keep it alive, the language. It was almost dying, but luckily for us, we got it back.
It's a tragedy that the world is losing languages at such a rate. In fact, one Indigenous language disappears virtually every 2 weeks. Estimates suggest that 100 years from now, there'll possibly be no Indigenous languages spoken on the planet.
Nanda Guyuwan, give me a fish. Nanda Mawan, give me food.
I realised that to keep the language in the world, it was necessary to create language resources like dictionaries, textbooks, storybooks, books about the medicines here, to books of songs that we have written to help keep alive the language, books of the ancient tales told in Djabuganydji and in English. This was the first book that I wrote, Djabuganydji, or Djabuganydji language here, which is an introduction to the grammar of the language. Yeah, but a man is actually a dial. What I'd written made it possible for people in the future to have some kind of access. For the Aboriginal people, the bama here who have grown up speaking English, well, learning the traditional tongue is a harder task as, say, learning ancient Greek or Chinese. Strangely, I'm actually teaching the children of my past students at the moment. Oh, so everybody, we're all going to say this word, how are you, in Djabuganydji. Let's go. Jiri Nyuwarri.
Jiri Nyuwarri.
Let's hear the R sounds in that word, jiri.
Jiri.
That's how. Do it again, jiri.
Jiri.
And you, Nyuwarri.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I moved 6 and I said all those Djabuganydji words. First one was cassowary, Bondara. Second one was crocodile, Ganyara. Third one was eel, Nyingara.
And we need to understand that without language, without culture, we're lost in the big white world.
Bajo, Wurrmbul,
Djabuganydji, long-nosed bandicoot.
But I feel blessed in my life that I came to such a place at such a key time.
The purpose of keeping it alive and knowing, that's just part of who we are, and what we do is the culture and the language. That's sort of our identity.
Gundai Wawapa. Gundai Gwingan Bundam. Maybe it's a ghost from the mountain.
Let's go. Gwee gwee!